have much of a filter.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
I need to sign a release or a waiver or something.
Okay. That's so
as far
good.
away as possible.
I got you.
Can't promise anything. On top of all that, I got the ADD.
Uh-oh.
Sometimes it comes to mind, sometimes not.
Wow.
Not awful.
We like that sometimes.
Here's a quote. We have never had such high-tech audio video here in our life.
Oh, really?
For my son's high school career.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, this, and that dude with the little man syndrome lens.
Greetings from CrescentCitySports.com from Breeze Family Field in New Orleans. We're proud to bring you Louisiana High School Soccer tonight. Our house matchup of two top-ranked teams in the state, a non-district affair of unbeaten's Jesuit and Lusher Charter. I'm Jude Young, joined by the coach Alan DeRitter. And coach, it's a pleasure to get together again to bring soccer action locally here on CrescentCitySports.com. A lot of times we do it in the playoffs, but this was a matchup that was scheduled late in the game, and it's the COVID era, so that's not a surprise that that's happened, but it allowed for a fantastic matchup between the number one ranked team in Division I, the Blue Jays, and these Lusher Charter Lions, and they're a program that's won a state championship before, but building back up here and having a fantastic season unbeaten as well.
Most definitely. And I want to tip my hat to both coaches because with this era of power rankings, you know, a lot of these games are being avoided by coaches. And for them to be able to play this game is going to do nothing but help both teams to get ready for the playoffs. And who cares about where you wind up power ranked? The bottom line is you got to beat the best teams to win the state championship. So let's learn how to beat them. You know, so I'm hoping we're going to have a really good matchup today.
Well, both teams are ones that pride themselves on good organization. These are well-schooled players who not only are awfully experienced in a highly competitive situation in both of their programs, but as you know so well, playing club soccer. So it's a year-round competitive atmosphere that leads to two programs like this being so good and having title aspirations once we get to the postseason coming up in a couple weeks.
Yes, indeed. I think you're looking at a lot of Jester's players on Lusher, and you're looking at a lot of Fire players on Jesuit. So it's going to be an exciting game.
And we were able to speak to one of the head coaches before the matchup tonight and got a feel for what Ben Barcelona wants to do with his Lusher team, and that is to stay organized and try to not give up anything cheap. You know, it's those moments where you're able to find gaps, find ability to make plays in space that are so important, and both of these teams are really good at keeping their shape and possessing the ball.
Yeah, that's true, and I think even Coach Ben kind of admitted this in our pregame interview that the difference here is going to be restarts. The referee crew they have out here is really great, so the restarts are going to be, I think, at a minimum. But if you give Lusher a restart, watch out. I mean, they're top in the state when it comes to burying restarts. And any of you coaches here who are watching and players, you want to learn how to do a restart right, watch these kids tonight.
Jesuit in the road white uniforms, the jersey tops, I should say, with the royal blue shorts, and you can see the home navy with gold for the Lions.
That's a new look for Jesuit, huh?
I mean, you know, it's tradition on Bank Street in Carrollton. As somebody who spent many years there in my formative days,
I'm all for
tradition's very important for the Jesuit Blue Jays.
Oh, you like this social distancing? We got two teams on both sides of the field, like as opposed to being on the same sideline.
A little smaller facility, and we'll talk about big changes coming here on campus in the next year or so. But we're about ready to start things off with Lusher having the ball first. And Coach, early on, you'd have to say that even though Lusher's at home and maybe a bit of an advantage playing on this crown natural surface versus John Ryan where the Jays play, they certainly want to be careful about not giving up an early goal. Jesuit, awfully good and maybe the best overall team in the state this year.
Yeah, it's looking that way, although I still think it's too early to tell. This field's going to be a real pain for Jesuit, as we're about to find out right now. This ball's going in the goal. Watch.
a real opportunity right away for maybe the best throw-in player in the entire state, number 13, Aiden Creek, as his head coach bragged on this weapon for them on situations like this, and Jesuit well aware it could be quite a jostling in the box whenever this situation comes up.
Tell you what, there can be no flinching in the box when this ball gets in there. Look at that ball.
That shows everything. Almost went to the back post, and Jesuit able to clear it. Maybe a chance to break.
That's why I'm glad our state championships are not on narrow fields. This is dangerous.
And the keeper coming way out. This is extremely dangerous. He can't get back, and the shot goes wide of the post to the right. Dragged it just a little bit, Coach, so a counter opportunity and a big one goes by for Jesuit.
Oh, that's a huge miss. Okay, I mean, that's a gift from God to have the goalie out of the box that far and have the goal that wide open.
And that's one of the more difficult situations to deal with when it's 1-on-1, 2-on-2, the ball coming. Do you come out that far? How far do you come? And coaches give certain keepers certain latitude, but for the most part, you want them to be very careful with those decisions. Jordan Schumacher.
Yeah, Jordan's well coached. I coached his sister a little bit, and he's comfortable outside of the box. He's always been, and I talked to his mother before the game. He's going to be going to Coastal Carolina, so that's a good thing.
For those who like to see teams that try to possess it and play triangles and put passes together, these two teams are very intent on that. We should see some very good ball movement tonight.
Except I'm telling you, Jesuit's going to be very constricted by this field.
A narrower field, a football field normally, multi-purpose facility, but been big changes coming that we'll talk a little bit about as we settle into this matchup. We've got some old Superdome Saints field turf sitting on the side that's going to be put down for what will be a multi-purpose new stadium. Right now, Breeze Family Field definitely in transition as Lusher does major upgrades to their campus, and that's a beautiful thing to see for a really good school that continues to grow.
Yeah, indeed. All right, here we go again.
Another throw that gets into the area should be playable and easy for the keeper, and it is.
Okay.
But so far, Lusher able to create a couple of opportunities on set pieces, which they feel like will be so important for them tonight to try to get the ball into the net.
Tell you what, the speed of this game is going to just be lights out fast. It's hard to possess when it's narrow, so you just got to go for the goal.
And you see Jesuit trying to play wide and creating a corner opportunity for themselves here, the first of the game for either team.
That's right, and that's what you're going to be, we were saying all night long. Corner, throw in, corner, throw in. So the team with the best set pieces, let's see what we got. Jesuit's really stacked up here.
How much time do you get to spend on set pieces versus working on different matchups as far as the run of play goes? I mean, you only have so much practice time to work with, especially during the season, and I know as a coach you've dealt with that challenge for so long.
Yeah, I know coaches, good save, Schumacher. I know coaches that put 30 minutes of practice time on set pieces or more, because that's their claim to fame, and that's how their MO to win. Other coaches like me, I'll maybe dedicate a practice or two to the whole training season on them, because what I like to do is have the kids read the game and take what the defense is giving you. I guess I'm a Bruce Arena disciple, and whereas Trevor Atkins, Derek, was really into set piece. It depends on your philosophy.
And a little of that nowadays has to do with how much talent you have at your disposal and how deep of a team from 1 through 11 you can put out there, how well they handle and are able to string the passes together. So that's something that has to be taken into account. A coach has to be flexible. You know that.
Yeah, well, and you don't have time to develop them because we get them the season starts at the end of October, and we don't get them like the games start on the 14th, the games that count. So you barely have time to develop them. And some coaches just say, look, we're going to learn how to do restarts. A lot of teams in Lafayette are like that.
You get a goal kick here and an opportunity to have a ball up for grabs, but Lusher able to grab it right back, and they've done a nice job on the ball here early. And the official letting them play here,
boy.
yeah.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that call.
Played out, and an opportunity again for a throw-in. This is right up the alley of the Lions.
If Jesuit keeps giving them these, watch out. I'll tell you what, Lusher's impressing me. To me, a team that wins the 50-50 balls wins the game in high school, and they've been winning them.
Creek again with a moon ball, and that's flicked wide and out of play. So The more Jesuit gives up these opportunities, the more risk they're going to be. And we mentioned Creek, who was all city as a freshman.
Yeah.
And not just for his ability for those throw-ins, but have you seen anybody throw in deeper than he's able to?
Oh, yes. Yeah, in my career. Yeah, I had a flip thrower myself when I was at Brother Martin.
That's an interesting skill, to say the least.
No knock on all the Jesuit fans here, but when we beat Jesuit for state, it was on 2 of the goals were on long throw-ins.
How about that? Of course, UB Collins doing a great job with the Jesuit program for many years, and for a while in Division I, it belonged to St. Paul's, and they're certainly a contender again this year, but Jesuit has been number 1 in that division pretty much throughout the season and came up with a result that they were looking for when they played St. Paul's as well.
I tell you what, Catholic Baton Rouge power ranking is better, and I had my junior high team at St. Paul's. Let's watch this ball. Another restart. It's going to be a lot of restarts tonight. Anyway, the Jesuit, St. Paul's varsity team runs the tournament, and those kids are hungry, okay? And I think they're a very dangerous team right now. And they only have 3 losses. I think it's 3 losses in 3 years.
Yeah, they went something like 3 years, and we did a game on Crescent City Sports when they were upset in state, not losing a single match until they fell to Mandeville that particular weekday night.
Wow. That was a nice corner kick for Jesuit.
And they keep possession and put it in the box once more, really trying to keep the pressure on, but finally cleared nicely in the center of the defense by Lusher.
Lusher had all 10 field players in the box. There's opening there a little. The openings are going to be very few and far between.
See if Lusher can counter once the heavy pressure comes. Those are important moments in the game, and a foul there, and probably a wise one at that point, as there was some space and an opportunity up the field. Noah Glasgow had some space to work with on the right and probably would have seen the ball there. So you hate to see guys go down, but at the same time, there are smart fouls that have to happen in the course of a match.
Yeah, there are. I hate them, but there are.
Part of the game. It's a physical sport. People don't understand exactly how physical soccer at the higher levels of any division, including what we see in high school. It's highly competitive, not just on those set pieces around the goal mouth.
I coach at De La Salle, and our football team's kind of good. And after the season is over, they always come and just say, well, okay, let me try soccer, because they don't want to go to off-season training. Mm-hmm. And like after two minutes, their eyeballs are wide open, like, whoa, we had no idea. It was this physical.
Elbows and bruises everywhere, right?
And fatigue.
Well, that's the key. That's the number one thing. You don't play soccer to get in shape. You get in shape to play soccer.
You said a mouthful there. Well, let's see. Watch. This ball is probably going to go to the edge of the box.
And here is showing off the leg.
Yeah. And I'm afraid in high school soccer, if we're trying to develop a team that can go into the World Cup level, I think what I've seen in the last few years is the exact opposite. We're going back to the old days of playing direct and winning on set pieces. All over the place I'm seeing this. And I'm sorry, you watch international soccer, watch Italy, watch Brazil. They're playing fast and hard. Teams like Manchester City, but they're not playing direct anymore.
I think a big problem there is that our country just doesn't have a style of its own.
We don't.
And you're not able to interchange players no matter where they're playing in the world to be able to come into a camp and be ready to play in international competition. And I think that hurts, even though on the youth levels there's more success than we've seen in recent years on the senior level.
Yeah. I don't have a tally list of the fouls, but man, are we up to like 6 or 7 now?
Yeah, not surprising. Both teams, they know when it's the right time to get a little extra physical and try to cut off any sort of attack. But
nice short ball. It's beautiful.
Great cross in, and again headed away nicely, but Jesuit should be able to keep the ball in the final third for a little while longer.
Yeah. I haven't been at Jesuit's practices, but I'm pretty sure Hubie's like me. Read the game instead of have a set play like a football play. And that's exactly what they did right there.
And we are in the press box here at Breeze Family Field, and sometimes I have to contort my body a little bit to be able to see at some of these angles. So we're very happy to have Albert up on the camera doing a great job to
Amen. Look at that throw.
See, and that's a great chance, and in!
That's it.
And the Blue Jays have scored. 1-0 Jesuit as they cash in
On a
that
restart.
chance.
On a restart. That was an amazing goal.
Max Hanneman, the senior, very excited to cash in the first goal of this match. And you're always most vulnerable the first couple of minutes after a goal, but Lusher immediately gives the ball away as the keeper will handle it for Jesuit.
Yeah, he came from the backside. And it wasn't like Lusher wasn't paying attention to him. He just got to the ball first.
Most dangerous run in the sport, right? That run to the back post.
Oh yeah, a lot of teenagers, especially, they don't keep up with it. It's just, as a coach, there's nothing that frustrates you more than ball watching. But Lusher wasn't ball watching. That kid, that was just an athlete versus an athlete right there.
Let's go, Lions!
Beautiful night for this time of year, you have to say. We're getting a mild winter stretch, although it should be cold for a day or two this weekend. We're expected to have this kind of weather, which as a coach I'm sure makes things a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to get the kids excited to come out for practice and games when it's comfortable. It's short sleeve weather really tonight, and it has been for a few days.
That was a push off. I call this playoff weather because it's usually
later. Yeah.
You know, you start getting these hotter days. I think tomorrow's going to get to 75, and then you get a cold blast. But you know, in February it's going to start warming up.
Jesuit just a minute ago taking a 1-0 lead here at Lusher. Excited to bring this to you on CrescentCitySports.com. Some late regular season action between two top-ranked boys
he's
teams.
open. Oh, he did too much. He went for a penalty kick. And good refereeing there.
One touch too many.
Yeah. I think kids are being taught to dive a lot these days. I'm seeing a lot of that this year.
Well, we know how it goes. They emulate the stars that they watch on television on the weekends, and we see that a lot in football around the world, sadly.
Yes. That might be another one, technically, right there. All right. Jesuit can't throw the ball as far, but Jesuit is attacking space right now.
Quick throw in this time.
Yeah, good.
As the Blue Jays begin to take more control of the game and really dominating possession the last few minutes. Good play out that time. Russell Brown.
So Jesuit's going to have to start realizing that they've got to start playing touchdown on this field. If they just stay on one half of the field, they keep Lusher around. Look at this, though. Now Lusher's only putting 9 players behind the ball.
We see Noah Reeland tying his shoes number 4 for Jesuit. He and the number 4, we just mentioned Russell Brown of Lusher, told that they're cousins, so an interesting matchup for them tonight.
Wow, that is interesting.
That one a little further than planned, but a chance to redirect on
look
the
at
cross.
that.
A bicycle
Look at that.
Good shot. Wow, what a finish.
Wow.
And Jesuit with 2 goals here. Beautiful goals at that.
Yes, beautiful. Excellent shot.
Trying for the sideways finish there a moment ago, but it led to another opportunity, and I believe it was Connor Kaplinger able to put it in the net for Jesuit, and this is not what Lusher wanted to see as the Blue Jays exerting their dominance here early with the 2-goal lead.
It showed Jesuit's goal there. It showed a lot of good soccer IQ because there were other kids who could have gotten involved in that ball, but it was left, and that shot was just not an easy shot to make, everybody, and he just drills it. He's got another opportunity here.
Flick forward, but the keeper able to come to the edge of his area and grab that one. But again, you know, we're not surprised to see Jesuit playing with skill, and boy, when they keep the pressure on, they're going to get an opportunity, and we've seen them cash in on a couple.
Yes, I mean, you know, everybody at home, this is Division III versus Division I. Okay, I'm not saying a Division III team can't beat a Division I team. I've beaten one this year. All right, but a Division I team is playing with more tools in their toolbox. You have more people to choose from.
15 minutes into the match, and the Blue Jays continue to keep the ball for the most part now for at least the last 10 of the match, mostly in the Lions' end of the field.
Yep. So Jesuit has kept good defensive shape.
Let's go! Come on, Lions! Get on him! Come on, Noah!
Ball, boys.
It's a dangerous situation for Lusher, and they haven't been able to really string any passes together lately, but perhaps a chance to do so here.
Well,
Played into space, but a little too far, and back to the keeper.
very well defended. And then back to these launched balls, man. Tell you what, something else that's going on a little bit that bugs me with the Louisiana soccer and high school soccer is that now the referees are it's been ruled legal to obstruct. Like a clear obstruction now is just no big deal, and I've seen a few tonight. Uh-oh. Nope.
Of course, we have to promote your podcast, which appears on Crescent City Sports, on Facebook as well. Monday Night Football, and it's the only podcast where you can get true dedication throughout the year to Louisiana high school soccer, club soccer, everything youth soccer in this state. Great interviews with coaches, officials, key figures that lead different organizations. You get all the information that you really can't get anywhere else, and I commend you on that, because for fans of the sport on all levels, I mean, it's very important information, and you've provided it year-round now for many years.
I appreciate y'all's support of it too. It's because of y'all that so many people statewide listen to it. I've had a hard time the last couple of weeks. I'm the head coach of the boys and girls, and with COVID, this has been so hard to get any free time to do a good job on a show.
And we'd love for you to be able to share a little bit of the challenges that you're dealing with, and other coaches obviously facing the same at different schools, not only with schedules, but availability of kids and concerns about contact tracing in particular. Boy, one close contact can lead to chaos for several days, not only for the program, but for the school itself.
Amen. It really does. It was a wonderful corner kick piece. Cross, that was almost a goal. Great save by Lusher. That was a great corner kick piece.
And Carter Dusang trying for the one-timer there, not able to square it up. But again, Jesuit's doing a great job of being able to redirect after initial attacks and keep the pressure on, and that's where both of their goals have come from.
Yeah, well, here they took the short corner, which loosened up the box, and then they just sent it across the box to a wide-open winger, and it almost paid off.
Nearing the halfway mark of this first half. Again, you'll see on the clock that will run it to 40 minutes, and then after that, the time kept on the field for the end of each half. Regular season game, so no extra time as far as other than the added time at the end of each half.
Yeah.
But for the most part, this half has really flowed, so there's not much to speak of at this point. Both teams pretty quick as far as putting the ball back in play.
I love to watch Jesuit's rotation on offense, how they use their fullbacks in attack, and really Lusher's not really worried about them. They're really condensing their defending third, we call it. Jesuit's throws might not be deep, but look, they do all result in shots.
Pretty quick turn there from distance, but not able to put it on goal that time. Carter Dusang again.
Tell you what, St. Paul's, I'm sure they're watching this game, all right? I'm sure there's a lot of teams in Division I watching this game. They better pay attention. Jesuit is really, really tough this year.
For all replays of matches, live and all sports on CrescentCitySports.com. They're also available on our YouTube channel, so if you're not following that yet, we certainly encourage you to do so and be able to watch matches and games and tournaments again and again as we broadcast throughout the year.
How did he find space to make those passes?
Such confident and tight quarters.
Oh, look at this, left foot shot. Oh boy.
Blocked very nicely there, but Jesuit still keeping the pressure on.
Jesuit's comfortable with this pace.
And you can talk about a little bit about different kinds of pace as that ball played well down the right side.
Yeah, but Lusher's playing with a forward right now. They said they play a 4-4-2, but it's kind of inverted. And really, when Jesuit's got three in the back most of the time, if you're going to play direct, that person on the top is going to have to just be Mbappe. Okay, he's going to have to be able to get open and make some things happen, or he's going to be it's 3v1. Three should win. The pace of the game it depends on your talent. We're talking about physical talent and the ability of the other team that you're playing against. If you're an inferior team to the other team, you want to play more direct because you're not going to be able to win the possession game. And so their games were really teams that play the beautiful game. They go to direct ball because they can't match up with the team they're playing.
And it's very difficult. You talk about 3 in the back, so 5 in the midfield, and that added width even on a more narrow field. Jesuit took advantage of that early, and that was able to set up an opportunity or two to be able to create. So again, using all of the field to your advantage to move the ball, and then you're able to make things happen with those passes on the back post like we saw as well. So yeah, that's what makes Jesuit such a skilled team, and a lot of the really good teams I've found in the state on the boys level will go with the 3-5-2 look and morph out of that.
It's the hot thing, like men wearing beards.
Is it a copycat deal, or is it just the idea of it's an easier way to use your speed?
No, it's like the NFL. We're a copycat.
Glad you could join us again on Crescent City Sports. We want to let you know the first half was brought to you by Riverlands Insurance, and now the second portion of the half brought to you by Lamarck Ford. And I kid you not, I bought a new vehicle there today. The great people, Ronnie Jr. and so many that I can't get to that helped me out to get me out of there in a few hours with exactly what I needed. Great service department, the fastest service department too, collision center, you name it, out in Kenner. Thanks to everybody at Lamarck Ford for their support of Crescent City Sports live broadcast throughout the year.
I got an F-250, and only death is going to separate me from that truck.
We don't need to advertise for Ford when it comes to trucks. I think most people out there know.
Yeah.
But you are not only a fan, you're also a client.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In a way, it's bad for them usually because I'm never going to buy a new truck because it won't die.
Don't tell them that now. Don't give them any ideas. It seems like expensive things are made to be broken a little bit too much these days.
Yes,
that's all I'll say about that.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
That's why they have warranties too, though.
Yes, indeed. Tell you what, Jesuit is not panicking, playing 3 in the back. I mean, we have some coaches, and I think Hubie's one of these. As long as you have 1+ in the back, like right now, if they're going to play with 1 forward, then Jesuit's going to push their backside full back up.
And they're able to bring,
space, and
they're able to bring 9 up in these.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Here's another man.
And you see at this point, Lusher just trying to alleviate pressure at times, not even any real countering opportunities, and that's a bad sign for them, because if you can come up with 1, you can change the game, but they really haven't come close.
No, and the guy who took the shot was their left fullback, you know? And look at the poise that they have, just swinging it from touchline to touchline without anybody in the middle. You know, I don't know. I suspect...
No, look at that first touch, and really trying to play it off the ground, a difficult shot, but the first touch was brilliant, but not on target that time.
Yeah, Lusher's about to make some subs. I wouldn't be surprised if they start putting pressure on their fullbacks, because Lusher really is an excellent team, and right now Jesuit's defending them like, okay, you got to prove it to me. We're not going to change what we do.
At some point, you've got to take some chances.
Yeah.
Playing 8-9 behind the ball for 2 halves usually doesn't end too well, especially when you've given up goals early. So it's that mix and match of, hey, you're still in range at 2-0, but you've really got to get something going offensively.
I think really looking at their shape right now, Jesuit's officially 4 in the back, but they're playing aggressive with their fullbacks, which that's how you win championships.
And really active, you're right about that, with the fullbacks making big runs and getting involved in the offense in the final third quite a bit.
Yeah. Here we go. Watch. Here's another example of it.
And again, Reelan on the side's been active lately.
Yeah. He's got a lot of ability. A lot of high school teams, your fullbacks are really poor scorers on. Your good ones, they're great scorers. You see, they got everybody pushed out. Now I got another one pushed out. They're 1v1. You see, Lusher, I'm suspecting Lusher's going to go push 2 on the top.
We see a very tall target, too, for situations like this for Jesuit. Number 7, Colin Brzezinski, a senior.
He's a horse.
Towers over everyone else on the field, so keep an eye on him.
He fell there, but he still got to the ball first.
Even off balance, able to put it towards goal, just a little bit over the crossbar. So there you go. You can sort of see that one coming as he lurks there right in the middle in front of the goal mouth.
I like to see who's recruiting him.
And that's another question I like to bring up every year when we do these broadcasts. How much recruiting and at what level are we seeing in the area not only obviously the importance of being able to have a chance to play at the different tiers of soccer in the area, and we have a couple local teams of note there. You mentioned the Jesters earlier, but colleges as well. Those are great opportunities, and we're seeing more and more kids getting a chance, even at the Division I level.
Yeah, a lot of the colleges are like it used to be when you call college coaches about players, oh boy. They would just say, don't call us, we'll call you. I reached out to college today, Christian Brothers, and they gave me more than just the time of day. They asked for film of my players, and so I think really Clemson was one of the bigger players of that in the late 80s, early 90s, starting to realize that Louisiana had some talented players, and we've been able to get our kids out and about. Our better players do get to play at the next level. It's just not much the next level for boys to play at with Title IX.
We mentioned Jordan Schumacher, the goalkeeper for Lusher. He is signed with Coastal Carolina, so that's just one example. And he's also been the keeper for the Jesters under-19 team.
Yeah, which is an outstanding team that Kenny's put together over there, Kenny Farrell with the Jesters.
And they had a really difficult situation the Jesters had to deal with because a year off to sort of reorganize to play in a different tier and then wind up having COVID happen and have that season wiped out as well. So they'll finally be back, hopefully, late spring, early summer to be able to play a normal schedule.
I am sick of COVID.
Do you know anybody that's like, oh, I can't wait, I hope COVID never goes away? No, I've met that person yet.
Oh, my. And I credit the LHSA for really just trying to keep their foot on the pedal to let these kids play. You can't live in a bubble forever. Having said that, though, one of our De La Salle supporters, Brian Bordelon's father, Kirk Bordelon, we just buried him this week from COVID. So some people, when they kid it, it's horrible. Here we go. Right there, beautiful.
For a while.
That's
and
beyond
now wall almost
great
a great
save,
finish
but
with
it's not over.
And then a follow that could have been slotted in there. Boy, what a great save by Schumacher, as it looked like for sure. Jesuit was going to cash in there. Brzezinski with the initial shot on a great touch. And then the follow just going a little high and wide.
The ball control on all of those passes is just out of this world. When you're running at that kind of level with that kind of size, to be able to keep the ball glued to your foot is not an easy thing. That's developed over years.
Jesuit really showing off their ability as a complete team out there right now. And that was just after a good little moment of possession that Lusher was looking for, but just like that, the Blue Jays able to turn it around.
Let's put it this way. If you could take number 7 out of the game and not lose a beat, you got some talent. Look at that hit winner.
And for the most part, you just see both of these teams, which I just love to see at this level, working hard to keep the ball on the pitch. Play the ball on the ground, not in the air. It's football for a reason. And what a breakup right there, right away, as it looked like Lusher had an opportunity down the center. And the Jays keep the pressure on.
Yeah, but Lusher now has changed a little bit. They're not dipping back on defense with their extra forward as much. They have 2 on the top. That's going to change the dynamic. It's going to force Jesuit to pull that other fullback back.
Bit of an adjustment for them, to be honest, as far as their overall schedule versus taking on the Jays. It's just a shock to the system where at times Lusher's so good as a Division III school that's number 1 that they don't get challenged except in practice against each other at times.
Yeah, that's true, especially in district play. In district play, sometimes it drops off.
Little shoulder-to-shoulder action and a nice play out. And the fans here appreciate it. Of course, not many, of course, and part of that being the pandemic, but enthusiastic fans here, and we're glad folks can watch. And we're glad Lusher allowed us to come in because you may not know, they do stream their home games here on the Lusher Soccer channel, so check that out as well. We met the cameraman, Chris, who does that for them, and really nice that Louis Landrum, the athletic director here, able to let us in and do this on such short notice.
You don't think restarts are important? I mean, you have, of the 22 players on the field, you had 21 of them inside the box.
Jesuit because they've been on the attack, Lusher because they're trying desperately to defend so many pressure moments.
Impressive that Jesuit's been putting those passes together. This game, 2-0 lead though, y'all, is a deceptive lead. In my experience, in 80% of the games, the team that scores the third goal usually wins.
Right.
And so there's a lot for Lusher to be pushing for. And I experienced that a couple of weeks ago. Watched it. It just happens so much. The momentum just switches massively with the third goal.
The emotions of the game can never be discounted, no matter how much skill's on the field.
It's just too important. You soccer, you don't just come and take a break every play for 45 seconds and recapture yourself. You're constantly moving, especially at this pace.
The conditioning at this level, too, boy, you get the adrenaline going in that second wind.
Yeah.
And Jesuit being comfortable in this match, sure, if the Lions could score, changes things entirely.
It would. Jesuit's not making any adjustments defensively, though. They're confident in playing the way they've been playing.
They've been able to break up much of the attack. Little that there's been for Lusher, except in the first 5 minutes where they had a couple dangerous throw-ins.
Yeah, I agree with the referee there. That's a handball.
Always the toughest call to make, especially when a player doesn't raise his arm much, like we saw in that case. But Brown did indeed commit the infraction.
And Jesuit, I love that when a team doesn't take time on their restart. They just don't wait for the second whistle and move it while the other team's trying to get set.
And that goes back to what you said, reading the game. You don't have to take your time and reorganize and try to communicate with one another. You just play and let everybody work by feel.
Teach kids how to read the game, and that's the school I'm in. You see green space, you attack it. You see that players are there, you don't go to it. It's real simple.
And you can't find weaknesses in players or in defenses in general if you're too busy thinking about where you're supposed to be, right? I mean, there has to be a free-flowing nature to it.
It's got to be, A lot of kids get hung up, especially young men, like trying to beat people one-on-one, when in reality you just, find where they're not. They can't take away everything. Even on a small field like this, Jesuit's just proved you can't take away everything. I don't blame Lusher. Like, if I was playing Jesuit with De La Salle, I'd probably try to stack the box, but there's still room to shoot.
Reichman a moment ago with a low shot. Schumacher able to handle it by his post, but not as simple as it may have looked.
Tell you what, that came close to a corner. That's where really Lusher needs to get. There was an opportunity lost there.
You just haven't had any dangerous attacks here since the very early stages of the half. And
those throw-ins were dangerous.
Right, very much so. But those were both in the first 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, and now, in a while.
And able to play it from the back. Jesuit's been able to do this throughout the game so far. Schumacher will try to play one down the field, but unfortunately for Lusher, goes out of play, and a little bit of frustration you might be seeing out there.
Yeah, they're not used. I mean, when you're used to winning, it's difficult to keep things in perspective.
Freeland to throw it in.
I mean, both of those goals for Jesuit were no cheap goals. Okay, those are some serious shots.
They've had really good chances outside of the 2 goals as well, so it's been a lot of pressure. And the thing that you do notice about Lusher is those weren't easy finishes. They weren't easy goals. They're not giving up anything cheap.
Exactly. And this is where Lusher can capitalize. They got everybody on the 18. Great ball served, and the ball got all right. They got the ball forward. I mean, that's an accomplishment.
Side header, didn't get enough on it, but a good idea and well set up. And again, Lusher will pride themselves in their ability to score off of set plays.
Well, look at that exchange.
Unbelievable. And a little confidence here by Lusher, still playing it out of the back, and maybe a chance to do something on the other half.
That was very wise. Instead of playing it long, look what it leads to 2 passes later.
Brown,
and now they get to have their big throw. So that was really well done by Lusher.
And a young team still. They've got some seniors, but it's been a nice build-up, and they expect to be very good here uptown for years to come.
It's tough to play here. I'm telling you. That's where I play. We got a lot of talent out here.
I'm very curious to see when they rebuild the place and have turf, how much different it might be. When you have skill playing on turf, that can only help you with the cleaner bounces.
Well, one thing that
Good punch away and a
Might
chance,
still be a goal.
but not able, and they're going to say offsides.
Oh, my. Nah, that referee's good. I trust him. One thing that turf will do, Newman, I saw Newman totally transition from when they were in the grass field and they put the turf in. Newman started to play to the turf, like learn how to skip the ball and play the ball diagonally on the ground and take advantage of that speed. And they've never looked back since. And I think that's what you're going to see evolve with Lusher. Turf and glass are two different things.
Oh, there's no question, especially how hard it is to maintain this time of year during the soccer season, grass fields in this city.
Yes,
I know it's even harder up north, but they've gone more and more to the turf fields as a result. I like to still see some games played on the real stuff.
The kids might not admit it right now, but I guarantee you they're enjoying running on dirt and grass.
And even at that age, it's easier on the joints, right? You just recover a lot easier after games. And I wonder, that's a question, how coaches like Hubie Collins having that turf field to work on day in, day out, easy does he have to go at times to give kids the opportunity to recover?
I think you really have to make sure that you have a good physical therapy department. You really stretch, because the shin splints and the plantar fasciitis you see from playing on turf is out off the scale the way what it used to be in the past.
Jesuit, as you can see, if you're just joining us with the 2-0 lead, two really fine goals, and you can check it out on the replay after tonight's match.
Good overlap. Great fullback offensive play. Now they got a chance to transition.
Rare errant
Jesuit's
pass,
down.
but Lusher needs to get it going quickly, and here we go, a chance for Lupin out wide. But shouldered off the ball, and Jesuit again with the answer. Counters have been knocked out pretty quickly. Jacob Merritt, a senior, that time making a fine defensive play.
That was Lusher's opportunity. They were going 2v2, and Jesuit just closed on them. Very impressive.
So the decision here is for a free kick. It looks like it was given deep in the corner, apparently, or is it going to be a throw-in? I think it's
a throw-in.
Yeah, the young man was a little bit confused. Yeah, he thought they were calling a foul there, but no, he throws it right in, and Lusher able to fight for it and try to create some offense, and it's played out, and that'll be a goal kick for the Lions.
Yeah.
I mean, a corner kick, excuse me.
I tell you what.
Let's go, Lusher. Let's go. Hustle. Good job, Jane.
The left fullback for Jesuit,
who's been very busy.
He is very good player. He's touching it right now. And look at that. And he gets fouled too.
Now we'll get the late whistle as a result.
But, oh boy, that could have been bad.
And Lupin arguing his case after the fact. Alex Lupin.
Oh wow. So he was fouled, but then when he retaliated, they got the calls. Kids, do you see that out there? The referee might not catch the first foul, although that was pretty obvious.
It's always a retaliation. Always young men and women out there who play the game. Yeah. Whatever game you play. Just assume that you're going to be the one who's caught.
And then Lusher wastes a yellow card here by complaining that they got the call.
I guess locals would call that a C.J. Gardner-Johnson moment. To bring up that other football.
Oh, my. Okay, well, this is where Lusher is good. Oh, no, I was wrong. Okay, he's calling the first foul.
That's right.
There's a lot of confusion there with the official and the side judge.
I think what he did was he called an advantage, which I agree with all of this. The advantage was there. Okay.
Surprised it took so long to sort that out.
Well, because all the extracurricular stuff afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, I've had these officials not enough. And they're very competent.
Thank you very much.
39th minute of this first half. And if you're the Lions, you're really thinking about the importance of trying to get on the scoreboard here. And Jesuit just looking to maintain control of the match, but more opportunities the last 5 minutes for Lusher.
Yeah, this is a big one right here.
That's fine. That's your range, Kate. That's your range right there.
Okay, you hear the fans saying that's his range. I believe it.
Lusher, come on, Lions.
This is not a long field. It's very short. And got it to the box, but couldn't deliver. Short fields drive me crazy.
How much preparation do you try to come up with in matches?
Depends. You have to know where you're playing. You really do. Rummel's got the most notorious short field in the city, and if you're playing at Rummel, like whenever we used to have to play in the playoffs on a neutral site, I'd always choose Rummel because I'm familiar with it, and teams would come in to play at Rummel. They were like, "What in the world is this field?" And Kenny Farrell used to be the head coach, and he would make it as narrow as possible too. So you could take a shot from the other side of the field.
So going to the extreme, again, trying to come up with any advantage you can. I get it. And that's always been the interesting part about soccer, that even at the highest level you see different fields. And we had the clock stop a little early, so we were actually in what was expected to be a very short amount of extra time, and have reached the half with Jesuit coming from Mid-City to Uptown and taking a 2-0 lead into the half against Lusher in a battle of unbeaten top-ranked teams. And a first half that, not surprisingly, you told us before the game that you thought this would be a real step up in class and a challenge for Lusher. Jesuit, after a slow start, really got control of the match for most of the half.
Yeah, I mean, and, that's I stand by that. I mean, a Division I team. I mean, yes, you can play Division I teams and beat them if you're in Division III, but you're talking about the top of the classification. That's kind of a tough road to hoe, And I think it. Don't get me wrong. I was supposed to play Jesuit Saturday, but because of COVID, we can't play them now. And I've got my eyes full. I mean, they're a legitimate Division III power, and it just, one school's got 1,800 students, one school's got 800. Okay, that's a lot of difference. 1,000 students.
So a real chance, though, for Lusher now, since they've gotten into the game, to get a feel for it and come out in the second half and get more of the ball. I mean, they're at home. They've seen the challenge. They see what Jesuit's bringing to the table, and they played a little better in the last few minutes of the half.
Well, I don't know if the camera's still on, but this is what Lusher's up against. The bench at Jesuit is full, but yet they got the whole field, full of players that are just itching for a chance to play. And so, but I do think really Ben is probably he's gonna have to. He can't keep playing this way. He's gonna have to make some adjustments to try to get that third goal. And I'm telling you, that third goal can change the momentum of the game. And Lusher is very comfortable on this field. I just think that they were kind of shell-shocked after those big throw-ins in the first 10 minutes that they didn't really threaten with those at all. And they're used to just scoring those over and over again.
Both of these squads benefiting from the challenge from the other, as we'll take a brief timeout and back for the second half in a moment. It's Jesuit 2, Lusher Charter nothing in this special presentation of high school soccer on Crescent City Sports.
I know. The goalie coming out and the other guy pushing him down, trying to get up. They kept them quiet. Which goes to the point of You actually have enough tacos.
Do you want me to lift up my just to disprove you? That big old hairy deal?
The hairy trans was coming out. Whew, here's what I love to say. Get the I have no problem. Like it's great. Well, All we need is Kenny with the fire marshal and up. You guys can't be here more than 20 people. Right, yeah, I know. Look, I kind of want to start a fire in my backyard just to show up now. So I got a couch in his office. I got a couch. He's taking that. I mean, it's like, we get a tile. I want to win, right? Oh yeah, no, I do too. But well, we did it on the back foot for the first part. The final part started down. Our foot. They don't have time to avoid the ball. That's the play across the back. Right, you got me last. The way you saw right there, that's three people going to get the ball versus having to go over the top. It's not going to work. Seven is huge. He's 8 at the top. He's got to be 6. He's got to be 6. That's right. They might have heard. They might have heard me. Call. Give me the talk. Jack is playing phenomenal.
Oh, yes, that was one up here. That was a good job. Good foul.
Right.
Right. No, that was a good foul.
Go for the sweet, Johnny.
Really far. Yeah, I'll play on mine.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that.
About ready for the start of half number 2. And we want to make a correction because we got a little chance to look at the replay. We're not the best viewpoint here from the press box, so we missed on the second goal, and we apologize for that. I am being very kind, but it's smaller school, smaller setup, but great people.
Yeah, great people.
And great areas as far as space-wise in the press box to be able to set up and bring in this broadcast. But it was the very active Noah Reelan, who's been so busy from his left-back position, who scored that second goal for Jesuit.
Oh no!
Yeah, and he's really just one of those special players.
Max Hanneman with the first goal for the Jays are about 2.5 minutes apart. Hanneman with the run to the back post and a really nice sliding finish. That made it 1-0.
Yeah, and I'm trying to. I'm pretty sure he's a fullback too. So would you know, maybe not. It looks like Jesuit's changed some things up, but still, Jesuit is solid today. What we really need to be looking at right now is, did Lusher do anything different? Are they doing anything different? And they're not known for that for the most part. They like to stay in a 4-4-2.
Again, the long throw in.
One thing about long throw-ins, though, is that your arm does wear out after a while. It really does. I have a long thrower at De La Salle, and really, after about 10 throws, he's not effective anymore.
It's an awkward way to have to throw the ball based on the rules, so you can't just haul off and throw it like a baseball. So it does take a full body sort of work as far as being able to perfect that and do it legally.
Yeah, I haven't had a flip thrower now for about 9 years, and having a flip thrower it's a lot easier to get the ball across the box, you know, because your body's whipping. But anybody could just throw the ball as far as this kid can, 45 yards with your feet on the ground. It's impressive. We haven't been talking much about Jesuit's restarts, but theirs have been crisp and clean.
And for the most part, extremely quick.
Yeah. See, that is just an incredible throw. That's going to far post, but Jesuit gets the head on it first.
Dangerous for just a moment, play it out, and again, Lusher will try to keep the pressure right on and play it high.
I thought that was offsides there, but referee didn't agree. Remember, your third goal is the charm. Lusher could score here. This game could totally be turned on its head.
A late whistle will come, and Lusher will have another opportunity here. And a lot of sports timed like this, last few minutes of the first half, first few of the second half, crucial times in the match. Nothing happened late in the first half, kept us at that stasis of 2-0. But now Lusher, you talk about the third goal, if they could score it here, that would give them plenty of time. If Jesuit does, that gives them complete command of the match.
I'll tell you what, Lusher's pushing people up. Oh, they didn't time their runs right.
That awfully dangerous line job that's played out. An over, but only just.
Yeah. Okay, here's a dangerous play here. This is how, there are some teams in Louisiana, this is the only way they score. A lot of man marking out there, a lot of contact, a lot of bodies banging around, and yellow card, it looks like.
With the right foot from the right corner, so an out swinger is the plan, at least for the moment. Let's see if there's any change.
Oh, no, no card. A lot of warning, though. And the hands are on each other again.
Back post, good location.
People falling everywhere.
It looked like a bowling moment with so many
Yeah.
pins falling down.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. That's what's good about having good referees, though. The referee's not going to determine the outcome of this game, and just because the body's on the ground doesn't mean anything wrong happened. It could be just because you slept.
Bumping and falling will happen. It's really the grabs that you're concerned about if you're the official more than anything. The grabs and the pulls, and that makes the difference. And if you can get away with a subtle pull to create a chance for a teammate, that's what they're probably looking for more than any, or at least from what I understand.
That's what I believe.
Shoulder to shoulder, whoever wins the moment.
Yeah, it's like, it's competition. It's a physical sport. You just can't lower your shoulder and hit the person first before you get the ball. Okay, here's another long throw.
Once again, Creek. Let's see if he's still got the juice.
He's
and
got
boy,
it.
does he.
He's got the juice. But Lusher doesn't have the size. You have to have size, too, at the other end.
Beginning of the second half looking like the beginning of the first with the Lions having some chances here from the set pieces. But if they leave too many wanting, Jesuit can certainly take command once again and start being able to dominate possession like they did in the first half.
Well, look, Lusher in Division 3, like right now, they're the biggest Division 3 team I've seen. We just played Parkview Baptist last week, which is undefeated, ranked 4th in power rankings in Division 3. And right now, Parkview Baptist is probably watching this film close because Lusher looks a little bit better, at least in size. But compared to Jesuit, it's apples and oranges.
But it doesn't look to be any sort of physical overall mismatch, though.
No.
Certainly,
I'm not saying that.
Right, no, but I'm saying that's what's impressive about Lusher going up against a team that's number 1 in Division 1. Physically, sure, there are a couple of Blue Jays that tower over the rest, but they do against all of their competition.
Yes,
but physically, they match up pretty well.
Right, and I think what Coach is going to have to start thinking about, Coach Ben, is do you keep throwing that ball deep into the box, or throw it to space where you could shoot it from distance, because if they're running the 50-50 balls, a long throw is really a waste of time.
Evenly played half so far, if not a little bit to the advantage of Lusher, but here come the Jays.
Yeah, they're patient.
And contact in a dangerous area for Lusher, but play on, says the official.
I haven't seen a foul yet, just because bodies were being touched.
What a great shot, and even better shave.
Oh, the save was amazing.
Schumacher saving a ball that would have found its way into the upper right corner. Excellent shot by Trevor Reichman.
And like you said, an excellent save as well. That should have been a goal. That's why the kid's playing in the next level. Schumacher.
He came out and challenged on a ball that was way up the field early in the game. For the most part, he's very comfortable making the late decision to come off his back line, and that's a sign of a confident keeper who trusts his defense and can read the game well.
Yeah, and he's in that new generation of keeper that uses Manuel Neuer from Bayern Munich as their role model. He likes to come out and attack.
That sweeper keeper, they call him.
Yeah. This is dangerous.
Had it out really well. Center of defense, they're working well in tandem. One marking, one playing the ball. Really nice by Lusher.
Yeah. And they just get struck down. Look at Jesuit's not even worried about the left side of the field right now. That's odd. I don't know if Lusher can recognize that and get it there.
Well, they haven't had enough possession to be able to do what Jesuit's done so successfully, working the ball from side to side and changing the angle of play, which is so huge, again, using all of the pitch that way. And the defense gets stretched, and that's where the opportunities come.
Yeah, and this throw goes long, and Jesuit wins the throw. So it's just, you can beat your head against the wall, I guess.
Always those difficult balls. 3 three entities collide. Two players in the ball, and especially if the official, if he's more towards the center field and it's by the sideline. It's a tough call to make. Linesperson trying to get the right angle as well. Refereeing in this sport is very difficult. Three trying to handle all of those duties and be able to see the game. There's a lot to look at, and I don't think people appreciate that all the time.
Absolutely not. And my kids get frustrated with me because I realize that, and we have a shortage of officials right now. Here's a great opportunity. Nope. We have a shortage of officials, and it's kind of hard. A lot of officials just quit because they just don't feel like they're getting paid enough to be insulted as much as they get insulted in the stands, you know?
And there's a shortage in all those sports, in part because of that.
Yeah. But without them, we don't play the game.
That's right. Imagine if the kids were officiating the games themselves. Have you ever seen that on the blacktop? It's not a pretty scene.
No, you need an ambulance. Okay, here comes another deep throw now. And it's coming. And so Jesuit's not going to worry about the backside of the field whatsoever. They're going to clog the throw.
All but one Lion and the keeper coming down. This always a key moment for what they're trying to do to get on the board.
Well, if they can get their head on it, I mean, it's a goal because the goalie's playing near post.
Punched away again.
Yeah, that's very good goalkeeping. That's really almost cocky goalkeeping, you know, to be able to stand at the front post and think that you're going to be able to get to the ball before everybody else. Transition goal almost happened here. Transition balls are the most dangerous thing in soccer.
And that's what Lusher was clearly worried about early, and they weren't committing enough numbers forward, and that's the risk on the backside. But you're down 2 at this point. What's
you got
what's
throw.
the problem with it? Go ahead.
You got to throw. And really, Lusher's claim to fame is their long throw, so, you know, ride the horse that got you here.
We haven't talked much about Ray Sauern, the keeper for Jesuit, who's got a clean sheet so far, and you mentioned his confidence. Confidence borders on arrogance when you're the last line of defense, and he's played very well and been confident about not only positioning himself and going after the ball at the right times, but punching a few away, which is a hard thing to do for a lot of keepers to do at this level, and he's done it really well in this game.
It's hard to teach.
And there he is again, confidently reading it. And
well, it's because he was in position as the ball was moving around. He was not ball watching. He was constantly repositioning himself, and really in the right spaces, not totally on his lawn, but not too far out. And it paid off. That was a brilliant shot, and it had no chance of going in.
Reichman playing it back towards the middle, and again the Jays switching so well, but that time a little too far. But again, they've been so successful at that, but they haven't been able to put that together here in the second half. Credit to Lusher. They have created some problems for the Blue Jays.
Yep. He has a suspected Jesuit. Now, Jesuit has some other players in. They're playing 4 in the back. They've just been playing really aggressive with their outside fullbacks, like amazingly aggressive.
Also want to mention the Division II #1 team that has all the first place votes in the state.
Yes.
And has for a while, Holy Cross. They have built quite the power in Gentilly, and they're a strong favorite again in Division II. Such a good program, and again, having 3 top teams like that in each division of the top 3 in the state, awfully impressive, and they're no flukes.
Yeah, like the good old days. And look, Lusher beat them. Okay,
Yeah.
and so and tied them. So you know, this game is still 2-0. A goal right now could turn this game over. But we have really good soccer finally back on the South Shore, like all the way around. Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4 is not too bad either. St. Martin's is having a good season.
We'll get your thoughts on why you think there was an adjustment period there. We've talked about the club scene as a part of that as well, but what about the resurgence here? And again, Lusher again playing much more confidently on the ball and battling and keeping possession as this match has gotten much more competitive in a two-way nature.
Yeah, well, my theory, I don't know if it's ever going to get published, but I really do think that a lot of our South Shore population moved north after Katrina, and the type of kid that would have gone to a Jesuit or a Brother Martin started going to St. Paul's. And St. Paul's used to be a tiny school.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they turned into a monster overnight. And now all the South Shore schools, okay, the people who stayed behind and the people who moved here, now their children are getting into high school. It's finally coming to full roost. We kind of saw it a few years ago in the junior high leagues that the New Orleans teams were starting to stack up pretty well. And now, you know, to say we've caught up with the North Shore, I think that's kind of bold, but I think we're definitely now in the hunt in the South Shore again.
So a rare drop ball are we looking at here after talking to the players? Indeed it is.
Yeah, that's the fair thing to do.
And what do you think about as far as finding the soccer committed athlete versus, you know, being in such a football crazed area and baseball too? I think it's starting with every generation, every few years to inch further in soccer's direction because there's so many more opportunities on the different levels of the sport. And it's all about youth development.
Yeah, and I think you look at the teams that are really excelling. I think Edie White is an exception. Most of them don't have football players. You know, the ones that are struggling, you know, we have football players. You know, we have to integrate them in, and especially in the smaller schools, kids play more than one sport. But I bet you, I'll be curious to see if there's any football players on Jesuit's team, except for maybe a field goal kicker like we have at De La Salle. You know,
Right.
And whereas lots of teams have just tons of football talent. That was a great opportunity. Not over. Oh, what a save
By the post. Really nice job backing up the keeper there. Disciplined defense.
Yes, indeed. I can't see the number. It looks like it was the deep thrower who saved that ball.
Trying to
Or was
see
it number
who
4?
It was.
No, it was number 4.
Probably was.
Okay.
But again, it's hard to see the front of their jerseys with the alignment. We can't see from the angle all the time.
That was just an amazing save by somebody who wasn't a keeper. That was a goal and a half. And Jesuit was, you know, a lot of teams they quit after the first opportunity, but Jesuit finishes. And that ball's bouncing. There's going to be a white shirt there within a second, putting the ball right back on target if the goalie doesn't catch the ball. I really hate it when goalies don't catch the ball. It drives me nuts.
They're the only ones out there that can do it, right?
So why would you slap at it?
That's
Sometimes you just
correct.
don't have a chance. You don't have a choice.
But we've seen the punching method on the other side. Jesuit doing that in those moments. If you're in a crowd, if you don't want to fumble it, you fumble it. It's almost game over.
Yeah.
The ball falls to the feet of attackers. So, yeah, that's a tough decision to make. But when you've got clear line of sight and you're not in heavy traffic, every time you're expecting the keeper to be secure with his hands. Not that it's as easy as we're making it out to be, but when you're at this level and you're starting, it's expected by coaches like yourself.
I'll tell you what, Jesuit, too, you can just see that they are calm right now. They're up 2-0. They know they're up 2-0, and they're just playing solid all around the field. You can't find a part of the field that's not being covered by a white shirt for the most part, except for when there's a throw-in.
And there's something to be said for being used to playing with leads and knowing how to maintain and manage the game.
It was
There
there.
was a chance, and it was missed. Late. Oh, goodness. That should have been a shot on goal and a tap-in, really.
Yeah, number 16, I don't know his name, but I saw him making the run 2 seconds before the ball was played, and Jesuit was caught ball watching. That should have been a goal.
Noah Glasgow had a real opportunity there, but couldn't control it and put a shot into the net.
And then he gets pushed down here.
And it's got to be frustrating for him.
I was right. Number 19, he is a fullback, so both of the goals have been fullback scored.
And yeah,
This is getting out of control.
And that was the first goal that he scored, and able to finish it off with the hustle on the back post. And that's again Jesuit using all their players
Yeah.
and keeping the attack on as they did most of the first half. But again, it hasn't been like that here in the second half.
Yeah. Not indeed. No, it hasn't been. That last minute was just a whole bunch of like little fouls. The referees letting them play. It just escalated. Sometimes as a referee, you just got to pull the whistle.
You'd like to see control of the match as it gets more and more heated,
Yeah.
taken at the right time. And at this point in the second half, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But I tell you what, I hate it when referees determine the outcome of a game. We saw that in the last World Cup for the women, and it's just unfortunate. But they're human too. And look, their adrenaline is pumping, it's nerves, everybody's yelling at you. It's a tough job. Oh, boy.
We see a lot of calm and cool play in those spots by both teams.
Yeah, oh, look at that. He just totally whiffed
Whiffed
it.
on that.
Boy, it was there, too. That far post was wide open. That would have been a highlight shot.
Again, Colin Brzezinski, who has the height to be dangerous in the air, but plays the ball well on his feet. And we've seen a little bit of that. And a very balanced attack for the Blue Jays.
Look, depth matters. Jesuit put about 4 or 5 kids in. Lusher won. You know, there's an advantage to that. There really is. I really like the international game better. When I bring my youth teams to Europe, you know, we still play with that 3-sub rule. Mm-hmm. And that changes the way you play the game too. Like we have on these unlimited subs, the play just gets faster and more direct because there's no energy you need to save if you have a deep bench.
And that affects the stamina of the match, and that's
yeah.
part of what makes the sport unique. Pacing yourself throughout a match and the importance of understanding how to condition yourself throughout the year. Again, that's so affected by however many mid-game substitutions you can. I know we have to have that for some fairness and for being careful with the kids. And not all soccer programs are built the same.
No,
you
they're
understand
not.
that. Yeah.
But I tell you what, I'm going to try to bring players to Europe next summer if this COVID thing wears down. I don't like to bring more than 15 because why would a kid spend all that money and then go to Europe and then sit the bench? I want them to play. And really, with 3 subs, there's not much play room. You got to, and your team better be fit.
This portion of the first half here on Crescent City Sports has been brought to you by Louisiana Dental Center. Great sponsors who help us be able to bring you sports, not just football.
Yeah.
Well, we cover a lot of football, but we try to cover as many sports as we can, including the great game of soccer year-round, thanks to Louisiana Dental Center.
Thank you, Louisiana Dental Center, because at least there's one media outlet in New Orleans that finds all high school sports, including bowling, important.
Don't get me started on the Lenny Van Gelder, Ken Trahan bowling love. But
look at that. Good save.
Directly at the keeper, though. Easy save in the end. But, yeah, we do cover that, and I don't think anybody covers wrestling as well as we do either.
Not even close. Not even close. And like just covering things when there's a state title, that just misses all the great things that happen during the season. Where Crescent City Sports is covering everything from the first whistle to the end.
And there's 2 great parts of that are missed, and that is it shows the depth and quality when you see the same schools having such good athletics across the board, and it's the fact that all these kids work hard. All these parents dedicate their time for their kids and the guardians involved, and they deserve to have the attention. We play sports at a high level across the board in this state, and we like to highlight that.
It would have been an absolute shame for this game not to have been paid attention to by a media outlet, and y'all are the ones to step up to the plate over and over again. Really proud to be associated with y'all.
Again, we'll say it's a stroke of luck that we found out about it in time, but we're very happy to bring in this one regular season game to you, and hopefully we'll be able to find the right playoff opportunity like we have the past few seasons.
Yeah, this is a COVID game. They were supposed to play Sophie B. Wright, and Sophie B. Wright canceled their whole season because of COVID, and so Jesuit obliged to fill the gap. And boy, we got the treat here. And make no mistake about it, no matter how this turns out, Lusher is going to be better for having played Jesuit, which is going to be rough for me when we have to play them next week.
You're learning here, aren't you?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, I've always been a proponent of play the best teams you can, and but the world here has changed. So I commend Lusher for playing them.
Again, a shot that's direct to a very good keeper is going to handle that every time in Schumacher. And 3 great programs within literal walking distance in this part of Uptown.
Yeah,
you're right here at Lusher. You can walk to De La Salle or Newman.
Yeah.
And these kids probably get a lot of work in as most live around the area on these soccer teams throughout the year to be able to play 2-on-2, 3-on-3 type stuff. Audubon Park, little parks that we have. Little middle schools that have these really nice turf fields for the short
Crescent
soccer.
City soccer, right.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and the kids, it's year-round. So soccer in New Orleans is finally recovered from the hurricane, I think. I really do think so. The club situation is still a mess, but it was a mess before the hurricane. So,
By the
Too
way,
many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Thomas
anyway.
Reichman there dragging that shot wide. Jesuits had a few shots toward and on goal, but not sharp ones, but they're starting to get more and more of the ball again as this half goes on.
Yeah.
Lusher had some chances that they weren't able to fully put together early in the half, and at this point, if you're Jesuit, you're still looking to attack, but they've played and managed the game really well.
Yeah, there's no panic. There's no panic.
I think they know their ability to strike back if Lusher's able to come up with something and put it in the net is also that confidence that keeps the team from panicking.
Right. Well, Lusher is defending them very well in the second half. It really has. They've settled down too. It's just, if you're going to win this game, you got to put those opportunities like you had that backside run earlier. You got to put those away.
Auctioner Sports Medicine bringing you the final portions of this match. Another great sponsor of CrescentCitySports.com.
Well, that was a mistake by Jesuit. Wow.
Confident again off the line, but the first time we've really seen that happen on this end of the pitch for Jesuit.
Yeah, Lusher's totally satisfied with playing the ball long to a single forward with their other forward withdrawn.
And that was Ray Sauerwin, the keeper, again, that's working on the clean sheet tonight.
Well,
Lusher trying to change that.
This is Lusher's chance.
And it bounces, wow, and nobody able to play the ball there. If you're Jesuit, you feel fortunate at the moment as you're still under pressure, but eventually clearing it.
That's another opportunity wasted right there. And you might not get another chance to do that. And here's the transition.
Plenty of space to work with.
No, he was offside. That was clumsy.
A rare piece of bad positioning by Jesuit there as they had the numbers and couldn't quite align with one another that time.
Yeah, it was looking like a goal to me about to happen. Yeah, I think the referees have control of this game. I thought that was a good call.
And the players have responded here. I mean, it's gotten a little less contentious than it was for a couple of minutes there.
It was for a little bit. And that's when he let him play. It's like, sometimes you just can't.
How much of that is familiarity with the officials seeing the teams multiple times versus sometimes we don't see that handled very well, I think, in the playoffs when we have officials from different regions having to handle games?
Well, I think those different regions, every region is different. Like, I know that sounds tacky, but they have different emphases. And one thing that Hector Barrios, who's in charge of the Referees Association here, it kind of aggravates you if you're on the bottom, but he kind of keeps the top referees at the top and the developing referees at the bottom, and they do get familiarity, and we get familiarity with them too. Because look, a game has a certain signature by the referees' allowance of letting things go and not go. Like right there, that could have been a foul, but he just let it go. And look at this transition again. Speed of the game by Jesuit.
More space to work with for the Blue Jays again as Lusher pushing more numbers forward at times.
Yeah. It's not like Jesuit's in cruise control now. I mean, they were pushing numbers up just now.
Sure. And if anything, they're getting more chances to try to put counters together. They just haven't had a clean one. Particularly that one a moment ago with the offside was a bit surprising.
Yes, it was. I'm sure that Hubie is going to address that tomorrow.
Tells you the expectations, though,
Yeah.
just as onlookers. A compliment to the program.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Really nifty
People think
footwork
it's
there.
easy for him to coach at Jesuit, and I disagree totally. Granted, I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I'm building a program, and that is taxing, but it's really hard to coach a program that expects to win. You know, and he hasn't won state in a couple of years, and the pressure's on, and it's a shame because is that really what we're all about? And he keeps focused. Hubie's a wonderful guy, and he coaches each team the same way, and he's always in the running. He's just St. Paul has had an amazing run, you know, and everybody's thinking it might be over. We'll see. But this team right here from Jesuit, it's the strongest Jesuit team I've seen in years, including the year they won state.
Powerful shot there from distance, just went over the crossbar, but Colin Brudinski, just one of many players capable of make things happen, including 2 goal scorers playing from their fullback spots. In the first half, it was Max Hanneman at the back post and a really nice shot for the second goal by a very busy Noah Reelan, who really was probably the player of the first half on either team.
I agree. Tell you what, Jesuit's content with letting Lusher's backside be open so they can condense the field more on defense. And that's just frustrating Lusher to death. They need to get the ball to the opposite side of the field.
Settle, guys.
If there's one difference between the two teams that we've seen in the game, Jesuit's been successful at doing that often, and Lusher's really struggled in that area.
Yeah, no, different styles of play, though. And I don't think Lusher should abandon what's making them a favorite to win D3 state in this game. They need to just perfect it, you know? So I can't really criticize them for, if that's how they play, that's how they play. And, but Jesuits recognized it and is saying they're daring them to switch the field.
Hard to change on the fly, like you mentioned, like that, but when they look back at this game, they look at the video from Crescent City Sports, they're going to see some opportunities to go, okay, now how can we deal with this if we see a similar situation? So that, again, the importance of being able to put a match like this together, the learning experience can help both teams moving forward, and I'm sure Lusher will be a better team after this match.
I guarantee you this, the head coach from Parkview Baptist, Loyola, Vanderbilt, they're all watching this film close. I guarantee that. So that's going to put Lusher at a little disadvantage deep into the playoffs, especially University High.
And U High is second in the poll in Division III right now with a couple first place votes.
Yep. Really, truly, in the Division III world, we basically say that it's all up for grabs. There's quality teams from top to bottom, and it's unfair to compare it to Division I, but in Division III, there's no respite between 1 and 23. You're going to have to play your best game to beat any of those teams, even if you're a top seed. Look at that.
And the long throw nearly results in a goal. That header down, just not enough on it to get by. But that is something that Lusher has built towards with those throws, probably the best opportunity yet.
Yeah, that's just a great goalkeeper, you know? Not panicking, not taking the bait, not going to the first touch. He held his ground, and he was right where he needed to be. A lot of goalies wouldn't have been there, and that's probably what Lusher takes a lot of advantage of.
About 10 minutes left in the second half before any added extra time. Scoreless since the 2 Jesuit goals in the first half.
Tell you what, you want to increase your defense spending, just find a way to bottle the anger of a soccer mom. They're getting frustrated right now. Oh, that was nasty. The advantage, all right.
And the sounds reverberate in this space here on campus uptown, so even though not a lot of fans allowed, they are making their presence felt, and I guarantee the players on the field are hearing and feeling it.
Tell you what, press box gives you a different perspective, like watching it from this far away. Like a great throw, but it was near
Aiden
post.
Creek this time.
Yeah.
Deep enough, but a little to the left of his target.
The Jesuits not going to let him have a corner kick.
And maybe that's a bit of the fatigue on the throws, like you mentioned, that one drifting on him for the first time.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Still heads and tails above anybody.
That's how perfect he's been on those throws early.
Good overlapping run.
The cross, and nobody there on the back post and cleared away.
They had to play it quick. And so it did give that person time to get there.
And that's a well-played ball. That's what you want to do in that spot. But you mentioned not seeing the width from Lusher tonight comparatively.
Right. I'll tell you what, though, but look at this. Look at this restart. This is Lusher's bread and butter. Let's see.
Letting them call the game.
And the ball drifting a little ways off the field, so that'll give a moment for everybody to set up for the corner.
If Lusher does score, mark my words, this game will be wide open.
Oh, sure. Frantic, no doubt. And actually, it is a free kick awarded in a really nice spot.
Jesuit's got the goal locked.
Well struck and headed.
Headed high. It was not headed by a Lusher player, though. You know, Jesuit is winning all the balls in the box. So really, if Lusher puts the ball on the ground like they just had that opportunity, that would give him a much better chance.
bunch.
But they're just used to being bigger than the teams they're playing.
Guys,
Yeah, and they are, and no chance. They did get their foot on it, though. It's so easy to talk from the press box.
Sure.
On the field, I don't know what I would do if I was in Lusher's shoes. Perfect the game that you're going to need to win state, or try to counter Jesuit. I don't know.
Free kick and corner crosses, though, I think I've been impressed with both of these teams tonight
Yeah.
and how on point they've been.
Right.
And credit to the defenses for the most part, they haven't led to any direct chances.
No, that's where you got 6-foot defenders that comes in real handy against restart teams.
Jesuit looking to hand Lusher their first loss of the season and remain unbeaten themselves.
Yeah, look at this opportunity.
Beautiful two-man game, and now
Gorgeous.
scuffed again in the end. Jesuits left some opportunities wanting in the second half in prime areas.
Something Lusher does very, very well is get back on defense. They really have done an exceptional job on that tonight. That wasn't the reason why goals were scored by Jesuit.
No.
Okay? They forced Jesuit to have to score 2 tremendous goals.
The Hanneman run to the back post, perfectly timed and well finished, sliding down for the first goal. And then after that, Noah Reelan with a great shot from a decent distance.
Yeah.
Winning plays, not losing plays, I think is what we're trying to say.
That's
What you'd expect of teams of this quality. But Lusher's been much more even with the Jays here in the second half.
yeah, it's been really impressive. They kind of put more pressure up on the top, and
I know you told us before the match, the crew here, how much respect you had for Jesuit, and you thought this was going to be a titanic challenge
yeah,
for the Lions, and they've really represented themselves well.
most definitely.
Many teams would have folded after those 2 goals in relatively rapid succession in the first half, but that certainly hasn't been the case here.
Yeah, and I got news for everybody who's on Lusher's schedule, and De La Salle's on it. We're going to have our hands full with this team because the learning curve from a game like this is going to be off the scale.
Cramping situation, first we've seen of that tonight, as Trevor Reichman needs a moment.
And that's one of the problems that Jesuit and St. Paul's has. In order to get pushed, sometimes I have to leave the state. I found that when I was at Brother Martin, I had to leave the country, to develop, because you get those games a couple of times a year, but you need a lot of these games to develop teams that can beat you bad.
I know many coaches on the high school level complain about the season being more condensed in the
Yes.
preseason because of the existence of the club game.
I don't know if it's
And other factors, but
Yeah.
I've heard the club game mentioned. There's a little bit of struggle to balance, I think, between those two sides, right?
yeah, I guess so, but
This is me as an outsider. I have no dog in the fight.
so I have a dog in the fight.
I know you do.
And so I would argue before I started coaching club ball full time, that would have been one of my arguments. But I think the real culprit, the enemy of soccer in Louisiana, is baseball.
Good point.
And this year, football ate into it. So we have football eating into our season till like the last week of December, and then baseball is not going to give any ground as to when they're going to start.
Right.
And a lot of soccer players play baseball, and so here you have basketball playing all the way through March. We have the same season, but ours finishes at the end of February. It's frustrating. When I see basketball starting to practice on Labor Day, okay? That's basketball and baseball get preference. They really do.
Well, look, I'm going to argue that I think that the sports early in the school year can start well before the school year to a certain extent. There can be a happy medium. The same can go even for seniors that have graduated. They don't have to go right to college at that
No,
point.
they don't.
You can, if you need to stretch it out to be able to have more space for sports and better dates, I think that's something that should be accommodated more. Good header, but low, and handled again, as it's been a very clean second half by Schumacher. But, I mean, that's just my opinion on it. We see it at college. I know it's a bigger money situation and easier in their summer school. That's part of that. But I'd just like to see more of that so that we have kids be able to play as many sports as they want to, as full of seasons as they can. And again, no dog in the fight, but, you know, in a perfect world, which we know this is far from.
Well, football got that extra month. I contacted LHSA today asking them, like, because my team's in COVID, and we might have to lose these games. What great goalkeeping. Good
Superb
shot.
hands in traffic there and well read again and not panicking at any point at a ball with good pace and good height coming towards that post.
So, like, soccer, our deadlines are the second and the first for girls, and they're not budging. And I understand why.
Spilled on the save. Will there be a follow? Schumacher able to do enough, and they're going to say what? That was out off of Jesuit.
That was great finishing by Jesuit. I like the fullbacks coming back on defense for Lusher, though, too.
And you can see how good these two goalkeepers are, and that's always part of a team that's able to be topping any sort of rankings, and the quality is certainly there for both to make a championship run. We've seen good moments of that tonight on both ends.
Yes.
Keep working. Let's go, Lions! Come on, guys!
I just realized looking at a plaque that's in this press box, Steve Volo's picture. I coached his son at Brother Martin, Jason, and Ryan, and a great guy. He died not that long ago.
Nice tribute for him.
Yeah, really and truly.
Do it again, AB, with the
Trying to cheat up a few steps there. Now Hanneman will throw it in.
Oh, good ball. Swinger, too high. Jesuit's not afraid to put a dangerous ball in the box.
Lusher running out of time, an opportunity here. Clock stopped at Breeze Family Field, and at this point, the Lions would need a goal in a hurry to be able to create any sort of chaos late.
No. And credit to Jesuit. I mean, when you're up 2-0, you got to tighten the screws, and they have. They've hardly made any mistakes the second half.
Just a really poised performance while Lusher has gotten more and more into the game. Really been an evenly played, see the quality of both teams type of second half.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're looking at two teams that are probably going to be holding up a trophy at the end of the year.
And we root for the local teams that have the best chance to be able to do just that, especially ones that have gone this deep into the season without suffering defeat.
That was a great shot, and goalkeeper was in position. Fullbacks were in position.
Been very impressed with the defensive positioning and the ability to recover and be in the right place and read the game well on both back lines.
Yeah. I'll say this, though, too. This is still a 100-yard long field, too, which makes it a whole lot easier. That's why, really, a 120-yard long field really separates teams. And it'll be interesting to see when they do the renovations to this field if they're going to make it a 120-80 field.
It feels like they're going to have to be able to do it on an angle as opposed to street to street at this point. The space has constricted them. That's the reason why this field doesn't have that room in the back.
That's right. I mean, this is uptown. Real estate's at a premium.
There's
here.
no doubt about it. And the NIMBYs aren't giving any ground.
No way. A cup of dirt here costs $1,000.
I live on the Broadmoor side, so I don't know what that's like. We just have broken gravel streets. That's the difference. No dirt.
Yeah, those streets. I teach social justice, and I tell the kids, maybe the potholes in the streets could be your social injustice. If you could get them fixed, you got a lot of people thankful for
That's
that.
what I mentioned at Lamarck Ford today. Do you sell tanks? Because that's the first thing I need. Or hovercraft, perhaps?
That's why I'm not parting with my truck. Okay, that should do it right there. And they're going to eat up the rest of the clock.
This way! Trevor! Get that way! Come on, Trevor. You do the right thing, Trevor. Good game, Trevor.
Y'all know each other. He's laughing.
And the sidelines are so close, we can have some conversations, parents and fans to players.
Yeah, they all know each other, believe me.
Mutual respect and admiration, though, you can tell as well.
Yeah.
Just a showcase of the quality, as you've talked about South Shore soccer tonight.
Yeah, it's really back. This is going to be a good. Oh, wow. Nicely defended.
Defenders really have done a nice job leaving their feet at the right time, too.
Yeah.
As Brudzinski gets around there, he's able to create havoc.
Tell you what, man. Jesuit size. This is a solid Blue Jay team. I really think there's a reason why they're ranked so high. A lot of people are seeing that they're just very physical and deep. Oh,
Another
nice
chance
ball.
to play it in.
Look at all these one touches.
We've seen some great footwork and back heels and behind the back dribbling and passing that just subtly handled by both of these teams tonight. As far as showing off skill level, I have not seen a better match that we've broadcast here in that area to show the quality of the two teams here on Crescent City Sports. So
Very
that's
high.
I'm not exaggerating. Just really impressed by the simple quality of the play to make difficult maneuvers look easy. That's what we've seen tonight.
Right. The easier it looks, that's the better the players. Look at this ball. Nice job by Schumacher.
Well judged there, no chance for a J coming in late and avoiding contact too to avoid something dangerous. That was smart as well.
That was very good sportsmanship. And then, I didn't see, oh boy, no call there.
Yeah, play on, a little surprising. Heavy touch there for Jesuit, but still battling for it. Ooh. Connor Kane, a junior.
We talk about this when we do our state games. The ball has something to do with it too, you know. Like in the state games, you have to play with these very buoyant balls. These balls tonight are just really solid and hard, and so they don't tail off.
And that has to be preferred, as I think we've reached, and we have the final whistle. And Jesuit will remain unbeaten, as they have knocked off Lusher Charter, handing them, I should say, their first loss of the season in a very entertaining 2-0 match here uptown tonight. Jude Young along with the coach, Alan DeRitter. I think the folks that watch this live, I know the ones in the crowd really enjoyed it. I hope everybody out there has, and encourage everybody who would be interested in high-quality high school soccer in the state to watch the replay. Your thoughts on this match tonight? I was highly entertained as a broadcaster, and I'm very impressed with these two squads.
Very, very, very impressed. I think anybody who's in Division 1 and 3 watching this game is sweating right now that they're going to have their A game to play either one of these teams if they're going to be successful. Just look. Yes, Jesuit has more players than Lusher, but for a Division 3 team to have that many players is unbelievable. You know, you don't see that at Division 3. So Lusher's loaded, Jesuit's loaded, the playoffs are coming. Get ready.
Attractive program, and we want to compliment one more time. The officials did a great job.
Oh, they did an excellent job. I mean, most definitely, they didn't let the game get out of hand. Only got chippy for 30 seconds, and it was taken care of. And refereeing matters. It really, really does matter.
Thanks to Louis Landrum, athletic director here at Lusher Charter, along with Ben Barcelona, the head coach, both so great to us to be able to put this match on the air. And stay tuned moving forward at CrescentCitySports.com. You can follow us at CCS Prep on both Facebook and Twitter for the latest news, score rundowns, schedule updates, and of course playoff coverage coming up in high school soccer. We'll have the scores each and every day locally in girls and boys soccer as well. Thanks to Matt and Albert for their work producing and on the camera tonight. For the coach, Alan DeRitter, I'm Jude Young. Oh, and by the way, I got to say it one more time, Monday Night Football Podcast. There's a page on Facebook. There's your Twitter account as well for that, and we post those podcasts each and every week as well on Crescent City Sports. If you want to follow high school and youth soccer in Louisiana, Monday Night Football is where it's at. Again, Jude Young, Coach Alan DeRitter, we're signing off from Uptown, and one more time the final. The Jesuit Blue Jays 2, the Lusher Charter Lions 0, and a fine match late in the regular season as we sign off on CrescentCitySports.com.